Yo, what's good, people? How you doing? It's your man Dell Mixit, and I'm back live again. And as you can see in the title, today we are diving into Matchbox. People ask about this program all the time. If you've ever had to do a reconform on a film or a TV show, it can be a major pain if you do not have certain tools or even files in place to make that happen. So today we're going to attempt to help everybody get started with that. As usual, man, y'all let me know where you are watching from, and whatever questions you got, drop them in the chat. They should be popping up on my screen so I'll be able to see them. And I got a few things I got to do before we actually do the reconform to prep. So I figured, I just go ahead and go live while I'm doing all that stuff and kind of talk through some of the things that we're doing to make sure the reconform happens the way it needs to happen. So right off the bat, very first thing that I got to do is the editor on this project likes to use Google Drive. I personally don't like Google Drive for file transfers because, for whatever reason, when you download files from Google Drive, it likes to separate everything into folders, and it just creates this mess of file organization and you having to figure out what's what. And then, sometimes it's fine just to leave everything disorganized. Sometimes it's not. We're going to see if it can work today without me having to reorganize it, just because, again, it takes a lot of time to deal with it. Just to kind of show you what I'm talking about here, let me open up the folder so y'all can see what I'm saying here. All right, cool. So here we go. Yeah, this will work perfect. All right, check it out. So you can see right here, this is the Finder window, obviously, and all of these folders. So this is 18 different zip files. This is how Google Drive downloads an AAF. It breaks it all up, no rhyme or reason, and splits it across multiple folders. So I'm going to go ahead and do an open on all of those and let them open up while we're looking at some other stuff. And while that's doing that, I can go ahead and go over to Pro Tools because I need to get my session prepped for a reconform. Now, with a reconform, obviously you need to make sure everything on the timeline is pretty much visible. I'm gonna move my screen out the way because I need to be able to touch my iPad a little bit here while I'm doing this, make it a little bit easier for me. All right, so what I want to do is, first of all, I installed a new version of Yukon, so I need to open that. All right, cool. That's opening up. Right. All right, so I want to make sure everything on my timeline is selected. And there's obviously multiple ways you can do that. For instance, I have a group over here called the Reconform group, and it should have most of this stuff selected. Yep. So that's pretty much everything in this session. But one thing I do want to do really quickly is I want to go to all my dialogue tracks and I want to open up the playlist because I use playlists to hold, first of all, my original copies from the AAF. And then also if I have any, you can see some of these say like V1 here, V1. So those are like my first pass dialogue edit. And then I decide, you know what, maybe I don't like that. So let me go back and try it again. And so that'll be my V2 and so on and so forth. Just try to keep everything I possibly can. So we're going to go here and we're just going to make sure that every single track, including my rulers, has the cursor on it. That's all we want, including the playlist. And this is one of the things that people talk about when they say they don't like to use playlists for things, is because they don't copy and Reconforms. I'm like, it's not a playlist issue, it's a user issue. You have to make sure you select across the playlist. That's literally all you need to do. It's just making sure you do the right things and so on and so forth. All right, cool. So we got all that selected there. Very good. I'm going to go back to my Finder for a second and see what's going on, and we can see clearly that those things are still opening. I should have done that before I hopped on live, because sometimes it can take a little minute to do what it needs to do, because it's 18 zips, and you can see here like they're all about 2 gigs ish a piece. Yep, smallest one there is 404 megabytes. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. And so it's opening all of those up. And so when these all open up, we're going to get 18 different folders. Inside of one of those folders is going to be for sure the actual AAF file. And then the rest of the folders will be audio files from the editor. Now, one thing this editor does do that I really like is that they are very organized with their files. They have folders for SFX, they have folders for dialogue, folders for, music, all different kind of things. So they do a really good job of kind of breaking everything down and keeping it organized. And so what I'm gonna basically pull for is I want to make sure I got the AAF out of that. And just to kind of, while that's doing that, I can show you the original cut because I've already done that. So the original cut, you can see here, right there, boom. So all of that is the original cut. Open up AAF, you see the AAF media. Now obviously we see that the AAF is not in there because what I did was pull the AAF out to its own space so I could easily grab it. And so the one that we're working on now is this updated one. That's what's opening up for us. And so what we're going to do is also open up Matchbox, because that's what we're going to really need to get going. And I have that over here on my other screen that you guys cannot see right now. Oh, look at that. Update available, new version. You know what? Why not? Let's live on the dangerous side, right? Let's go ahead and install this new version live. We're doing this live right now. Everybody's seeing it happen. Installing a brand new version to do some actual work with. What could go wrong, right? Oh, that's gonna get in my queue for the archive utility. So we got to wait for that because it's opening up after all these other things open up. See what we got going on. Let me check my comments. All right, nobody's saying nothing. Or this thing is just not showing me what I want to see. Which one is it? Let's find out, shall we? Somebody give me a thumbs up in the chat. Give me a thumbs up so I can see if these systems are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So my mouse and keyboard will not transfer over. So let me go over here manually. All right, I do have a thumbs up on Facebook. Okay, so yeah, my comments are not coming over. Great. Another thing for me to deal with from a software company. Because this version was supposed to work properly, but clearly it is not. But I'll just open up Facebook over here so I can see my comments popping in. Where you tuning in from, my brother? Where you watching from? comment window right here. Orlando, man, I haven't been in Orlando in a minute. It's been a hot little minute. Oh, let me mute this over here. All right, cool. All right, so, all right, we see we got the first folder right there. So that's good. Slowly but surely popping open. We see a few more getting near the end there. So that's good. And so this is Matchbox. This is the main window for Matchbox. And then there's also this secondary list view that basically just going to show you, you know, what happens. You can see the percentage of damage that happens. You can see the length and how long it's longer by. And then once we get some stuff in here, you'll be able to see what's been matched, what's been swapped, rebalanced, added, extended, removed, trimmed, and updated. And basically what this is, you know, match means that from the old cut to the new cut, it saw things that are similar, so it recognizes them being the same. And then swaps would be things that moved from one place or the other. And then you have shots added or extended, would just mean that they added a brand new shot, or an extended shot means something that was already there, but they ended up extending it. And all this is based on file names and time code. So it's technical back-end stuff that's happening. Removed and trimmed, pretty obvious. And then updated. That purple updated is for things that are different, like color changes or VFX changes. Matchbox is really great about being able to show you all that stuff, because one of the great things about this is most of the times in the past when you use something like Eddy Load, I want to say Eddy Load did it. I'm drawing a blank. I cannot think. Conformalizer, I think was the name of the program that would do this. But basically with those, you needed to have the EDL. So you needed a old EDL from the first edit, and then you need a new EDL from the new edit. And then it would go from there and make a change list. With Matchbox, they're allowing you to load in an AAF, EDL, XML, video files, guide tracks, pretty much whatever you have from the editor, you can use that to create a match list. And then from there you can go in, like these windows down here at the bottom. On the left hand side it will show you your original video. On the right hand side it will show you your new video, assuming that you've put the videos in there. And then in the middle they call this the delta, which is showing you the change, what's different between the two, which is great for being able to go back through it after it's done its automatic matching and just make sure, because like sometimes it doesn't catch all of the FS, because it'd be something as simple as there's a shot maybe that has a cameraman in a mirror, and so one of the VFX updates was that that cameraman was removed from the mirror. It may or may not pick that up, so sometimes you have to kind of go through and double check some of the things that it does. See here, archive utility is still going, and we have 4 folders updated. So see, it's chugging along. And again, you know, this is one of those things, you know, one of the reasons I like to go live like this is because you get to see real time what the workload sometimes is. Like sometimes you spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour even, just waiting on files to either download or compile or whatever it is. And so that's all time that's on the clock. Like you're literally, this is a part of work, and there's not much you can do while that's happening, because in order to do the Reconform, I gotta have these files, you know, open. So that's, we're literally waiting on that. So if you got a question while we're waiting on that, please go ahead and ask away. I am here just hanging out, chatting with you guys, and doing work all at the same time. Hanging out with me. All right. Let's see. One thing I can do though, since we're already here, is I can go ahead and bring in the original AAF. because I have that one right here. So we can go ahead and go to Matchbox, pull that in. And it's loading that up, looking at all the data in the background, doing its thing. Now, you know, before we had Matchbox and other programs, Reconforms were done by hand. Like literally all you would do is I used to get a sheet, a EDL from the editor that would show the time code of where they made a cut and, you know, what changed about that cut and then the next one. And so you would literally go through that whole thing and you would just manually on your timeline have to, okay, let me select all the tracks right here. Let's cut this. They deleted this part, so let's delete that out. Trim everything down if that's what happened, or if something got inserted, then you would just leave it blank, and then you'd bring in your new AAF that included your new files to happen. Now, on this one, I've already seen the edit, and all it is cutting out a section. So I actually could have probably done this one by hand, but for the sake of showing Matchbox, I figured I would use Matchbox for it because there are some things that come up a lot of times with people asking about Matchbox that I'm hoping that I'll get to show here today. But in this instance, I don't even think I need to load in the new AAF because what was changed was taking something out. It wasn't adding anything. It was just literally taking out a section, a small segment. So I think that I'll just need to run the Reconform for it to cut that section out, bump everything else down, and then we should be good to go. And we can see here, Matchbox is taking a little bit of time there on that import. So that's a little troublesome to me, the fact that it's still sitting there at 99%. That is not normal. Let's check this folder over here. There's still only 4. Okay. Okay, boom. So we see right there, Matchbox is done. And so you can literally see we're seeing everything from the video editor's timeline. All these first tracks up here are their video layers. And then we see all the audio layers. So pretty big boy, right? It's a big old situation. And so up here we can see this is where you do all your matching stuff. So right here you can either match by video clips, you can do anything. So it's literally gonna just look at video, audio, and just try to match it. You can do any video, you can do any audio, and then down here video clips, video files, audio files. You get different results based on what you use as the match source, and so you just kind of have to sometimes just play around with it to get whatever. And the more time you have, the more meticulous you can be about this, because if you just no time at all, just hit anything, run it, and hopefully all the metadata and everything it does is correct, and then you're good to go. But if not, then you're gonna want to dig in and trim some stuff down. So what I'm gonna want to do, I'm gonna go by audio. I think because I have the AAF in here, I should be able to go by my audio clips and pull it that way. All right, so we got folder number 7 out of 18. Oh, you know what? While we're sitting here, I want to check on Twitch, because I should be live on Twitch as well. If y'all not following me on Twitch and you're a Twitch person, then go ahead and look for Del Mixit over there on Twitch. Yep, I am live over there. Awesome. Sweet. I think we got one person tuned in. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, just a few more to go. And so one of the reasons why over here on Pro Tools, why we made sure and we selected all of the tracks, all my playlists, is because when you let Matchbox automatically reconform your session, it's literally gonna go based on where your cursor is. It's gonna go to those sections on the timeline, and it's going to copy and paste, and move things from one space to the other. So, like, I'm gonna go ahead and go up to 5958 here, which is my 2-pop. But in this case, I actually don't want to be there. I want to start right on 1 hour, because that should be where the AAF started. And then I just want to select all of the timeline. Now, this movie here is a little bit over the 90-minute mark. We can see we're at 139. So, with that being said, I want to move this current information down the timeline, giving it enough space to be able to copy this old stuff and move it to the new position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit cut here to cut everything off the timeline. And then I am going to go to 3 hours, and then I'm going to paste it. So now I've moved everything from 1 hour to 3 hours. So that gives me enough space between the hour and 39-minute mark that this film is to copy and paste from new to old. Or from old to new, excuse me. It's going the opposite way. So we're taking everything from the old timeline and we're copying it to its new position on where it's going to come. Everything's going to come back to this 1 hour mark. We're coming right back to 1 hour, but it's just going to move everything over, and I'm going to do a save as just in case something goes awry. And let's see here. Reconform. All right, so this is my Reconform session. Boom. All right, still got a few folders going there. It's a pretty slow process, right? So while we're waiting on this to do its thing, let's turn some music on. Let's play a little music while we wait. If I even have it in here, let me see. Oh, do I not have my music in here? Yes, I do. And matter of fact, y'all let me know how my audio levels are. I forgot to even check my audio levels with you guys. I'm just on here talking. Y'all hear me because y'all clearly responding to what I'm saying in the comments. But yeah, it'd be good to know how my volume is. And then now that I got the music going, how's my volume with the music? We're gonna kind of just vibe out for a few moments here while we wait for these zip files to open up. And for anybody who's curious about the why it's taking so long, this is going to an SSD drive, so it's an SSD, so it's definitely not that portion. I do at some point need to do some testing to see if archive utility is just slow in comparison to some other things. I do have some other programs that can do unzipping, but it's just one of those things you just never know with zip files. They can be super fast, they can be super slow. This was opening up 18 files and we're on number 13 right now. That's almost done. So yeah, again, I apologize for not doing this beforehand, before hopping online. Thought it would not take this long, but I underestimated my own system. North Texas, all right, North Texas. How's the weather out there? We got I think we're in the 90s today. I think here, ATL. Let's see. What's this weather like? Yep, 91. We got 91 here in Atlanta. So still blazing hot. So if we 91, then y'all gotta be. Do you know if it's possible to reconform by hand? Absolutely, man. You can absolutely reconform by hand. Just depending on how bad it is, it could be, a much longer process to deal with if you're having to do it by hand, because you literally have to go through and look at the EDL or look at the video and find the spots where there's a change from the old to the new. Then you have to cut it and then find the next spot where that length of time, cut it again. If that was something got deleted, then you would delete that out, or if something got lengthened or shortened, then you would need to trim it out either way. And then you have to do that for each one of those edits. So I've only done reconforms by hand years ago. Like I'm talking probably 9 or 10 years ago. It's been that long since I've done it by hand, because it can be very tedious to do it by hand. It's very, very tedious, and it's easy to miss things when you do it by hand. And depending on, hopefully you're getting actual EDL files, because I remember one time I had to do a reconform, and the editor just printed out a like an Excel doc of what the EDL was supposed to be, but I don't think it was the actual EDL. I think they just typed it up. And what happened was there were several of those edits that they were off by a frame or two of the time code, which was resulting in obviously the audio drifting and being all out of sync in certain places. So to have to go back and figure out which edit was not right and fixing that was a major pain. So one of the cool things here with Matchbox is that if you want to, and if you need to, you can put the video inside of Matchbox, and then you can actually go through and look at the two videos. So you got the old video on one side, the new video on the other side, and you can literally look at them and see if anything's changed across them, and then you can look at the matches accordingly. So ever since I've gotten Matchbox, it's been way simpler to do these, because even before this, I think Conformalizer, it didn't even do the video thing. Like the video thing was a big deal when Matchbox came out with this, because I mean beforehand it still was, you were relying on the metadata 100%. Like you were basically saying, okay, cool, as long as this metadata, and that goes for anything. That goes for Reconforms, that goes for conforms, assemblies, like all of that stuff only matters in the sense of when you're dealing with incorrect data. If all the data is 100% correct, all the time codes are right, the file names line up, then this stuff is usually a breeze, and it takes absolutely no time to do. You just let the algorithms run their script, and then you're done. But when things are wrong and there's issues with time code or file names have changed, then that could create all kinds of problems for you down the line. So, it's just one of those things. Like I said, this is part of the territory of what we do. And so because this has been running so long, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to install that new version of Matchbox. We're just going to rock with the current version because I don't have any problems with the current version. So, it'll be fine for me to run with that. And I'll install it later because we want to get this thing conform. It's already 12:40, so that means it's lunchtime. So I at least want to get this conform done, before I take lunch, because that's important. Because that's going to determine the rest of my day. All right, there we go. All done on that. So you can see we have these 18 AAF updated folders. And so what I'm looking for now, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete the zips because we don't need the original zip folders just taking up space on our hard drive, right? All right, so I want to find the AAF, and there it is. Boom. So there's the actual AAF. I'll scroll down because I just want to put it outside of all of these folders. All right, so there is the updated AAF, and so we're going to take that and bring that into Matchbox. All right, so let me bring my screen back up for you guys. And so now we're loading in the new AAF. And so you see it gives you a nice little ETA of how long that should take. All right. 1.5 minutes. And another thing that happens sometimes, even with these EDLs and AAFs, is sometimes editors select the wrong range on their timeline. Like I've gotten, I recently did a trailer and the AAF was 19 frames off, which was just literally a mishap of where they grabbed from and drug out to select their export range. So those things happen as well, and you would notice that here. Like if you see stuff, you would, because most of this should be the same, at least in this one, because I already know what the change was. So most of it should be the same, and then when you start seeing stuff, just like especially at the beginning, when the beginnings don't line up, it's like, all right, something here is wrong. And so we can see here, just glancing at the timeline, you see how similar these two are, because again, it's literally just a small change that happened in this edit. And I'm just looking here, and we might not even be able to see it. Like that's how small it is. And I might need to do by picture file, because here's all the picture files up here. Okay, yeah, I can see like right here we got let's see here. All right, so yeah, you see right here, like those two are off. Yeah, so you know what? I'm actually gonna go by the video. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna run it, let it do it by video clips. So that is a clip, right? There's a video clip. You know what? any video. Let's do video. All right, it's gonna match. All right, so this says 81%. One shot was extended, 39 shots removed, one shot trimmed. Okay. And I don't think that's, let's see something. Okay. I mean, that should be right though, because there's nothing odd about that. All right, so shot for 1006 or 246 frames. All right, so here we go. Let's try to run this. Let's just see. I'm gonna show you something, because either this is gonna work or it's not, because this even says untouched 100%, dropped 0%. So this is iffy. So I'm gonna show you what happens, you know, if you just let it do its thing, you don't check any of it, and you just kind of run it. We're gonna see what happens. All right. So Pro Tools is right there. All my tracks are selected. My cursor is across everything, including my playlist and my rulers. And I'm gonna go to Matchbox, and we're gonna go to Reconform and Pro Tools. Yes, this is 23976, which we're just gonna verify that. Yep, that is correct. And this we want to be nope, this needs to go to 03. All right. So right here, these are our settings. We're going to cut and paste. So not just copy and paste. We're going to cut and paste, and you got the option to do either or. And then we can tell it to drop cut markers if we wanted to. If I made some markers, it could put it in there. And then auto clean gaps, auto clean cuts. That's just all about automation. You know, which in this case, I have no automation yet because we are in the editing phase. So that shouldn't be an issue at all. And so I am now going to run it at normal speed. And let's see what happens. Okay, so that to me does not feel right. You know what? I'm actually going to undo that, because I did not put the paste at 1 hour. There we go. All right, so now we're going to run it. Oops. See, there we go. User error. I can already see I did something wrong. You see where it didn't grab my playlist? That's because I did not grab the playlist again after I had come off of my selection. So we're going to undo. And we're going to go back in here. Make sure all the playlists have the cursor on it. Yep. All right, move that back. And one more time, shall we? Reconform, run it. Now, okay, so essentially it has taken everything and moved it, right? That's what's happened. And I am going to pull up my video, which now I can't put the video on the screen, unfortunately, because this is obviously a work in progress. So y'all have to, I'm gonna talk you through it, what I'm seeing video wise, and then we're looking at the audio. So I am going to go into my video sync, and I need to pull in the new video because right now I have the old picture, but now I need to pull in the new one. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And here is the updated video file. Yep. And we're going to move this to where it needs to be. Nope, not that. Yes. Could have done that already too. Look at that. That's not gonna take that long though, so all right. What does the Reconform, the SSE, or the dialogue editor? Who does the Reconform? Okay, who does the Reconform? The supervisor sound editor or the dialogue editor? It kind of depends. I don't think there's any right or wrong on that. It kind of just depends on the project, who's on it, what stage you're in, and then also just the familiarity with everybody on these things. The more things that people are capable of, the more things they're allowed to do. Like I would say in my case, when I'm working with my team, I'm usually doing it as a supervising sound editor, but I'm also usually the dialogue editor as well. So it just makes sense for me to do it, considering that if we're doing it in the phase that we're in of actually still in the dialogue edit. Now, the flip side of that, on this particular project, I am doing everything. So I'm handling up everything. So if there were multiple departments, then I would need to do the conform. Then I would need to redo certain assets that were given to the team. Now, again, luckily in this case, for me, I know that this change was only a small change. So actually, I wouldn't even bother with the Reconform for sound design or anything, because what was taken out won't affect them drastically. Like it's a few frames of some background ambience that would need to be adjusted for perspective, but the scene is still the same. The two shots are still the same that we're using the scene. So in this case, it's one of those where I'm making a decision where I wouldn't even worry about them doing it. I would have a conversation about it, just let them know what happened. But it's not going to affect their work one way or the other. It affects me more than anybody because of the dialogue that's been taken out. On a bigger situation, then yeah, we would want to make sure everybody gets the Reconform, which is also a cool thing because with Matchbox, you can actually export a diffs marker, or you can even send an email of the summary. So like you could literally email somebody this entire summary of what happened, and they can look at it for themselves. So again, it just kind of depends on the project, how much has changed, who it affects, and what have you. Very, very good question there, sir. All right, so I'm gonna go here and pull my new video to video sync. All right, and I am going to go to the scene that I know it is. Let me go ahead and change this because that's not right. And you're welcome. It's my pleasure. It is my pleasure. So that just happened. That's one of my little scripts that I have written for from on in SoundFlow to automatically turn on the video satellite, set the satellite, and then enable it. Just a little script that runs automatically, so I don't have to spend time clicking around over here on my own. All right, cool. So, boom. Here's the scene that has changed. All right, so let me mute that. Okay. And this goes here. Yep. That all looks fine. Yeah, this was a MOS anyways, actually. And then we should cut. Boom. All right. All right, so that did not do what it was supposed to do. So we got to go back, which I figured it wouldn't. So again, Matchbox allows you to see these things, and you should trust that what you're seeing is correct. The fact that it showed me that nothing was changed, all this, that just didn't look right to me. And that's based on experience. But usually, kind of going back to when I first started using Matchbox, that's what happened. Like, I just ran the thing, it said what it said, and I ran it, and then things didn't work, and I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Why is Matchbox not working? I thought it was supposed to be simple, yada, yada, yada. But just learning that there are still things that we need to do on the back end. So let's go back into Matchbox, shall we? All right. So instead of any video, I'm going to go here and go to video files. Not video clips, but video files. And that should be looking at these individual edits here. See, boom, 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 like all of those little things. That's what it should be looking at as a video file and not this clip up here. So let's see what happens when we run it that way. All right, so now it says there's 0 damage. Okay, so that still did not do what we wanted to do. Let's go here to video clips. We're still getting the same thing. Okay, so now this is where we say, all right, cool. Bump that. Let's go to any audio. And so now this is going to look at all of the audio clips down in the AAFs and determine what's what. And ideally what I'm looking for, based on what I know about this edit, is for this to show me one cut in here, something's shifted in the timeline, and just moving something over. Now again, like I said, this is a simple edit, so it's not gonna look crazy like some other ones would look, but I at least kind of have an inkling of what I'm expecting to see over here. Because it shouldn't be 81% damage, I don't think. Like, I feel like 81% is a pretty high number, knowing that this was literally just one piece of a scene that was taken out. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That looks better. 0% damage, but we can see 97% untouched. So that sounds about right. 2 ranges were matched. That makes sense because we got the first piece of the film. Something was taken out. Second piece of the film. Boom. Cool, right? See 2 audio clips trimmed. Okay, very good. And so like now if we go in here, we can see it matched up that. So, like I said, this from this here to here, it should be the same because there's nothing to change. Like that was literally the same thing. And then the only thing was over in here where we actually get an edit to where we can see right there where the audio clip matched up. But if we look here, we see where it's pulling from. So you can literally see right there what happened. It took that out, and then this all shifted down. So now, when I run this, it should break that apart in that manner and put everything back. And then even again, visually, this looks better to me. Again, I'm using my past experience with this program as well as my knowledge of what the edit was to even visually look at this and say that that's closer to being right. You remember before, it didn't have a break in these files. It just showed a whole clip and a whole clip, and that was it. Which that didn't make any sense because we know that there was at least a segment that was taken out of this. So there should have been at least a small little break like the one that we have here. Again, love the fact that Matchbox gives us so much visual aid to see these things. And so now I am going to hit run it and boom. You see it just cut that. Now it's going to paste it. And then it's going to go back, grab the rest, paste it back. And now we do have one slight problem, but I don't think it's a problem. Right here. Actually, it's a problem, but it's not a problem because this is where the cut was. Right here, this is that cut. So I should be able to, my timeline is there. Yep, okay. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna play this out really quickly. All right, so so what we got going on is the edit seems to be pretty much right, but because of the the audio wasn't broken, and actually here's another thing about this. I actually did do something in my edit this session. My AAF is not 100% accurate to the original AAF because I moved some stuff around, so it's not seeing the same files, and my time codes are right, but where it's trimming this is not lining up. But I should be able to manually fix this now without it doing anything because the next scene is correct. All right, yeah, so I'm just going to make this edit manually because everything else before and after is right. It's just this one piece, the way the edit happened is not lining up the audio where it needs to be, but it's just a trim that I need to make on something. And so one thing I do want to do really quickly is go ahead and fix this. My 2-pop should be here. Copy that, and then we're going to put you right here. All right, so that's my 2-pop should be here. And then I'm gonna go to my tones track, and actually, let's undo this because I don't need everything. And this is my tones. So I'm just gonna move that right there. Go to my in pop, paste that, boom. That is back where it should be. This, we're gonna need to look at this, why that's, and that's also a, that's what it was taken out. So that's the part it was taken out. Yep, right there. Cool.
See, I told you. See, I told you.
Yep, that was the edit. Okay, cool. Let me go back over here. And I am going to fix this edit, and then we'll be done. But overall, you can see what Matchbox did. All it did was copy and paste everything from that old spot to the new spot, left a new hole, and then now I can continue on what I need to do. Just this small little edit here that I need to trim these files out in order to fix the edit and bring that audio back, and we're good.
Sit with them.
All right, cool. So because I need to listen to this stuff and look at it, I gotta hop off of here because, you know, NDAs and all that good stuff. But definitely appreciate everybody for coming in here, tuning in with me, checking this out. Hopefully you got something out of it and got to see a little bit of how this works. One day I'll come back and do another thing and show you a more complex one because what I figured this one wouldn't do it, but I just wanted to do it just to see. But there are times where you're gonna have to go into Matchbox after it's automatically found things, and you're gonna have to match things up. So like for instance, let me go back here really quickly and look at right here. So like you see how it automatically matched those up and everything. Other times where it's more complicated, you'll have a bunch of gaps in here, and then you'll have like this little line that will come from here to here, basically showing that those two clips kind of are the same. They started at the same point. There's time code matches, but it sees them as breaks, and you have to go in and do what's called a heal. So in here where they have heal selected matches, like you would literally have to go in there, select all these open spaces to where it looks like it's supposed to be connected together, and heal it. The same thing like in Pro Tools, when you have two clips that were cut from the same audio file and then you want to bring back the middle section, if you heal it, it merges them back. The same thing happens in here. And then there are times where, for instance, let's just say instead of this being this way, it's the other way. So meaning that the hole is down here on the new cut. What would either it would have right here, it would say extend by 1 frame or however many frames. And what that basically means is it intuitively thinks that you need to match this up, because based on the time code and the files that it's looking at, it's saying that that file was extended or lengthened by a certain amount of time. And so you would literally want to go to it and actually go up here to these little settings and actually extend it out for those particular ranges. And there's a bunch of different things you can do in here as far as trimming things out to, you see right here, trim tail to fill gap, trim head to fill gap. So it would literally be you going through and doing those things until you have a matchup that looks like the one we're looking at, to where there are no gaps, there are no connecting lines. It's just straight 100% close, nice and buttoned up. Same thing over here, like you can see the button and it just all looks like it's matched together very nicely. And then you can run your conform. Charm Link, thanks for sharing all this great info. Hope to watch the full video at a later time. Yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in when you did. But yeah, you can go ahead and hit that rewind button. There's a couple of spots where we just kind of just chatting through some stuff that was unrelated. So what I'll probably do, I see you're on YouTube, is I'm going to go back into YouTube and actually chop out the sections that don't matter. For it to live as a YouTube video, so it'll be a lot cleaner and don't have all the fluff and the dead space in there. But yeah, so again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been fun. I'm gonna get back in here, get this done, and I'm gonna take a lunch, and then I'm back to dialogue editing. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.